Play.
Hello guys, so we'll be watching João Fonseca against Lorenzo Sonego in Bucharest, first match in center today. One thing I will have to do is put up the scoreboard for you, and I'm in the process of doing that. Before we begin there, obviously this is quite an exciting match. João Fonseca getting yet another ATP Tour wildcard after Estoril recently, after Rio, where of course he's Brazilian, so that was kind of obvious. Estoril, Bucharest, maybe less so, but I mean, who else to give opportunities to than probably the best young prospect in the world right now? As I said, in a second, I will put up the scoreboard for you as Sonego is serving first. And, well, I'm not really expecting much. I think for Fonseca, this is first and foremost still a learning experience rather than anything else. But obviously, if that sort of becomes a thing and it's like only a learning experience time and time again, that will be kind of irritating too to him. But well, he's got the peak level to trouble Sonego. We'll see if he can find it. Of course, he's already gotten a better win this year over Artur Fils in Rio. That was a 6-love, 6-4 defeat. And, it's not impossible. He plays a very good match, he might beat him. But in the long run, I mean, it's going to be hard against someone of Sonego's quality. I will have that scoreboard up in a second, hopefully. That's my plan, at least. And I think now you should probably have it on the screen. Yes, we do. I wonder if I can enlarge it even more. But I think that might be more or less everything we can do. I mean, we can also go like this, apparently, without the photos of the players. So basically, we can go even like that. I guess that's going to be fine. You should probably see it more or less clearly right now. Anyway, it's a pretty quick game for Sonego. Fonseca's return game for the moment at this stage of his career is not that strong, and that could be an issue in this match very well as well. This one was just him missing returns left and right, so not much to speak about yet in the opening game of the match. Fonseca, of course, the junior number 1 at the end of last year, the champion at the US Open. He made the quarterfinals at least at all the 4 slams last year. Phenomenal records already, such an impressive performance in an ATP 500 event in Rio earlier this year, beating Fils and Garin to lose to Navone in the quarterfinals. Challenger final recently in Asunción. And while at first he was planning to maybe have a stint at college, I think at the University of Virginia, right? He eventually, after Rio, decided that this is not going to work for him because he simply is good enough already and can grab enough experience at the higher levels of the game so that it doesn't really make sense. And I get that decision. I mean, Sonego is approaching the top 300 of the ATP. Fonseca is approaching the top 300 of the ATP rankings. And so far, definitely having a very nice season, despite a few losses that that were pretty rough, but that mostly can be attributed to the lack of consistency that at this age is very, very normal. Great point here to pick up the first point of the second game. Lovely combination of a backhand cross-court and then a volley finish. Sonego tried to do something very similar on the next point, but misses it into the net. As I said, recently we had Fonseca playing in Estoril. He lost to Jan Choinski in the first round. Kinda sad that we didn't get that Hurkacz-Fonseca clash in the second round. That would have been super fun. But there was definitely quite a lot of young, let's say, inconsistency and just sort of instability in Fonseca's game during that Choinski match. So he kind of just stalled the second set out of nowhere and showed that very high peak level for like 5-7 games, but that was it. And after that, he played in Madrid. The challenger played on, let's say, like, some altitude. Of course, it's not Mexico City or anything like that, but it is played at like 600, 700 altitude, and it did influence the results quite a lot. For him, it was also a really good feat. Eventually, he lost to the runner-up of that event, Leandro Riti, in the quarterfinals. The first forehand winner of Fonseca's racket. That's definitely the key shot in his game, and just when he gets a ball that he's comfortable with on that wing, the easy power can be insane. Long trade here, but I think Fonseca probably missed that backhand. Yes, indeed. So 40-30. In many matches that he's playing so far, it's kind of like, he's the main actor. He's the guy who's trying to get the balance right between his raw talent and simply, not being like mature yet in terms of his game. This one, I mean, Sonego has more to give, right? Like, Sonego is not going to just stand there and give Fonseca that opportunity. So maybe that's why it's a little trickier, but it's a nice start for the Brazilian. Another forehand winner inside out this time, pretty much on the line. So after just 2 games, we are still on serve. The Tiriac Open, of course, in Bucharest is coming back after 8 years to the ATP Tour calendar. Since 2016, we haven't had that event. And it's also going to be there for 2025, actually subbing in for Estoril, at least in the current version of the ATP calendar. But the ATP and the organizers of the Portuguese event are working on including it somehow. I've also heard that Ion Tiriac, of course, who's responsible for this event, former great Romanian tennis player, also doesn't really want that date that currently Bucharest is assigned to, which is the first week after Miami. So probably there will be some switch-ups incoming there, but we'll have to wait and see how they figure this stuff out. Very good serving so far from Sonego, and Fonseca is definitely not getting too much done with the returns here, just setting up Lorenzo for easy +1 winners. Seems like Sonego has come out in some very good rhythm in terms of his serve at the very least. Landing a lot of first serves in and just blasting the first forehand, just like on this point as well. Not not a winner per se, but still a point-ending shot. So 40 love up for Sonego as he's trying to keep that streak of not losing points on serve here going. Once again, the first serve is in, and he's going to drop shot Fonseca beautifully. It's a really nice start for the Italian, and he's kind of, I mean, if he's playing like this, he kind of will force Fonseca to be on top of his game every single time. Like, he'll kind of force some real composure out of him, and well, we'll see if the 17-year-old can supply that. But for now, 2-1, we have a fun shot of this guy in the crowd mimicking that Sonego drop shot motion. Maybe he's going to use it later when he plays with some friends of his. Definitely, I've found that, when you watch a lot of tennis live, then you kind of like have that drive again, right? You just can't wait until you get to play. And that's pretty normal. So maybe that's what this guy in the crowd is now experiencing too. thankfully, I had my fix in Estoril in that, well, actually in Jamor, but in Portugal, in that already famous Talking Tennis showdown with John. 10 a.m. my time, by the way, this match starting. I almost missed it actually by 1 hour because I forgot that Bucharest is in another time zone, and I think so did John actually, who was setting up this stream, because it was initially scheduled for 11 a.m. But well, it is 11 a.m. but in Bucharest time. But anyway, thankfully I realized in time. Early start for the guys. Fonseca, of course, with a wild card here. Sonego, one of the dark horses for the event, maybe. Fonseca could also, of course, win an ATP Tour event already, but it would take 5 really good matches in a row, and that's something that so far seems a little unattainable for him, but we'll see. Sonego could definitely be one of the dark horse contenders for this one. Let's see if Fonseca can keep going with Lorenzo and also hold serve. So far, we definitely see a lot more rallies on the Brazilian's delivery, including this one right now where he eventually misses a shot. Sonego asking the umpire to check out, I mean, basically if it was really out here, but I think indeed he missed that second serve return. Bit of an opportunity already could have been if it got to low 30. Sonego, Fonseca kind of rolling this first serve in. Still got a pretty nice ball to crack the forehand with, but crack with the forehand, but he misses it. Definitely in more trouble than Sonego so far on serve. Now it's Fonseca's turn to attempt a drop shot. In fact, a very similar one to it's Fonseca's turn to attempt a drop shot. In fact, in a very similar position to when Sonego hit it. The only difference is that this one landed in the net. So it's going to be 2 breakpoints for Sonego, who's started this pretty sharp, putting a lot of returns in. On serve, he was kind of unplayable the first 2 games and might already get some rewards. Again, the return is in, even though the serve was good. But seems that the acceleration from Fonseca here will be good enough. Yes, indeed. So 1 breakpoint has been saved. Got a bit of a shorter ball and didn't wait. Pounced on it. But 1 more breakpoint still. We already have a longer exchange on this one. Sonego getting to run around now. And it's going to give him the reward. Survived the first couple of inside-out forehands from Fonseca. Eventually got a crack at his. Hit it pretty heavy. And got the backhand error that he was expecting. 3-1 Sonego. Pretty much a perfect start for the 6th seed in Bucharest so far. I actually have to check that. My guess would be the 6th seed. I did check that at some point. I just don't know if I remember it right. Yeah, the 6th seed in Bucharest, indeed, yes. Another forehand drop shot from Sonego, and Fonseca will probably get there before the double bounce, but not quickly enough to get it over the net. Very similar again on the +1 forehand. He just comes up with a dropper. Says sorry as well. I'm not sure for what. But yeah, so far it's been a serving clinic for Sonego, who finds another ace down the tee. everything is won very quickly, and more importantly, everything is indeed won when Sonego is stepping up to that service box. He misses his first serve finally, so maybe this is an opportunity for Fonseca. Maybe will be a touch nervy since the first attempt was a let. Let's see what Fonseca can cook up when he has the second serve from Sonego. And yeah, it seems like whether he gets that in or not might be pretty important. I mean, Fonseca eventually still loses the point, but he was on top of it. You know, he hit a couple of great backhands. The one cross court, it seemed like Sonego would barely get to, but he actually produced a pretty nice defensive get. And eventually, it's Fonseca trying to just go for too much angle on that last forehand inside in. Court must have seemed very small for him in that instance, given how well Sonego is defending. And that's going to be a point for Fonseca on return, finally. Am I right to think that this is the first one? Yeah, I am right to think that this is the first one. So it was 12 straight points on serve for Sonego. Fonseca finally manages to lock up one of them. Maybe Sonego trying to pull the trigger a little early on that backhand down the line, but anyway, I mean, he was 40 love up, so it's definitely an error you can forgive him, unless something crazy happens. And this time it's another very well crafted point. So Fonseca thinking he's gonna put some pressure on with the deep backhand return, but Sonego just cracking the +1 forehand down the line, picking it off at the net as well. 4-1 Sonego, and so far this has been very comfortable for the Italian. Hello, Gene. Sonego is a bit too much for Fonseca at the moment. So many events to follow at once. So your focus is Stuttgart and Barcelona. Mine is probably Bucharest and Munich. So I guess that's perfect for us. We'll just have everything, you know. The two of us will just have everything. I guess other than Ruin. Yeah, coming up today, so many matches indeed, so many tournaments. 2 on the WTA Tour, 3 on the ATP Tour. Stuttgart, a couple of highlights, maybe especially later in the day. I think Noskova Ostapenko is probably the one that everyone wants to watch. In Rouen, we've got also a really nice setup. Maybe Cocheretto Garcia being like the star of the day. Munich, we'll see how the rain is because it's supposed to be raining for like the entire week, really. But yesterday they thankfully got a lot of playtime in and got a lot every single singles match that was scheduled for Monday done. And obviously, we also have Bucharest, the first match on center court being this one, Sonego Fonseca. 6 more singles in Bucharest today, too. Albot Kovacevic, Mutesh Shapovalov, Vacherov, Vucevic, Borges, Wawrinka, Taberner, Martinez, and then Gofem Kecmanovic to end the day. But of course, the main dish will be Barcelona, where we have the return of Rafael Nadal playing against Flavio Cobolli. I believe we will have a watch along for that one. I might join it for like the first. Well, if it is quite early, I probably will have to join it for like the first set, and then someone else will take over. If it starts a bit later, then I'm just not going to be there at all. But yeah, we will have that one on the channel for sure. Nadal against Cobolli. And in general, in Barcelona, there's a lot to look forward to as well. Mahat Shang is kind of my low-key favorite today. Love 15 here. Fonseca has to be pretty cautious, spreading the court pretty well with the forehand. But is again like the defending of Sonego gonna get to him? Yes. Puts a bit too much spin on that forehand inside out eventually. And it's love 30 as the set is running away from João very quickly. I think especially if he loses here and if he loses like quite comfortably, it might be a bit of a sign for him to, well, slow it down a little bit maybe with the wildcards. I mean, obviously you want to take all the wildcards you can get, but I mean, so far I don't think he's actually learned all that much from this one. I think maybe just going week in week out on the challenger circuit is a better option for him right now. But we'll see. Maybe he turns it around. Maybe he has a better patch soon. That's a fantastic point. Again, approaching the net, nice backhand volley, and that overhead as well was, let's say, easy, but you can miss that. We've seen a few of these in Monte Carlo, especially from Mr. Novak Djokovic, and even in the final from Mr. Stefanos Tsitsipas. I think yesterday I was commentating on something. What was it? Oh yeah, Caso Arnaldi, and there was this funny game. Well, actually, this was the last game, and what happened there later was not funny at all. But of course, with Caso sliding and rolling his ankle. But it started pretty funnily, as in basically Arnaldi was hitting two overheads in that game in the first 2 points right after the serve and missed both of them. That's a nice drop shot from Fonseca, somewhat similar to the ones that Sonego was playing earlier. Instead of the +1 forehand, where Sonego has to move back a little bit and expect a big blow, goes for the dropper. Did that land in? That's the big question now. And I still don't know. Okay, it didn't. That's a pretty smart play again. I mean, Fonseca dictating with the forehand, and sure, it set him up for a great position, but then he like doesn't really know how to end it, I guess, and plays this forehand slice approach instead of just a regular big shot, which I think was made it very tricky for Sonego. Definitely a change up of pace. But he's still not getting that game deuce. Puts Sonego on the back foot with the backhand line though, and will get another game point. I think as long as this match is like an hour 30 or something like that, it will already be a decent turnaround for decent turnout for Fonseca. Just probably if it is like 50 minutes, then you will probably feel like he hasn't actually learned all that much. But as long as he's kind of battling, as long as it's competitive, that's kind of what he. Of course, I mean he's a very ambitious person. He wants to win it, but that would kind of make this week okay for him, I think, as long as it's competitive, as long as there's a bit of a battle. And so far, he ensures that he will stay within touching distance of Sonego with a great forehand cross. That was probably the best game that Fonseca has played so far. He made a couple of sloppy errors at the beginning, but after that, he actually constructed a couple of great points. He had that forehand dropper, he had that forehand slice approach as well, mixing things up quite a lot. A few stunning winners, a few stunning point ending shots. I think this was probably the best we've seen in this match so far from Fonseca. The question becomes, though, whether he can translate it into something on return as well. So far, the first point looks pretty good. A bit out of position, he hits that forehand cross-court counter, and I think it's on the line. Yes, indeed. Fonseca goes. If Sonego goes to erase the mark. In the previous 3 Sonego service games, Fonseca only won 1 point. So perhaps we're already looking at like a small possibility. I mean, given that he's now won the first point of the game, but of course Sonego can just make that all go away very quickly if he keeps serving like he's been so far in this match. Second serve though. And he steps in to take that second serve return very early, and it is a return winner from Fonseca. So the chance is now getting very, very clear. It is a love 30 opportunity to try to break back. The Sonego first serve percentage, I believe, has been very high, but the moment it drops, he might be in some trouble as Fonseca is clearly trying to attack these second serve returns. And even the first one here is a really good return, right? Yes, indeed. And he manages to catch Sonego by surprise there. And it's going to be 3 breakpoints back for João Fonseca. Definitely was not expecting that in the last game when he was love 30 down, and it seemed like we were going towards like a 6-1 set. Now we might be on level terms soon. He's getting all the returns in this game, and that's already made a lot of difference. He won't win. He won't be winning the first point though. A little far behind the baseline after the return. Couldn't really get move forward in time. But it's still 2 more opportunities for Fonseca as he's trying to get back to, just being on serve with Sonego here. And he's been making the returns this time. Second serve now. I wonder though if on this side of the court he's also going to be moving forward so aggressively, because probably he's not going to be able to take it so early off the backhand. Yeah, this time he's returning from the back fence essentially. And that's a pretty bad error. So just 1 more point now for just 1 more chance now for Fonseca. When he had that ad court second serve return, he just swooped in and blasted the backhand down the line. But here, when he was on the deuce court, he was just trying to stand 3 meters behind the baseline, go for a deep forehand return. That unfortunately for him fails. But it seems that now when it's another second serve, he's definitely positioning himself more aggressively again. He'll try to take it early off the backhand, I'm assuming. Yes, indeed. Doesn't get too much depth on it, but he still gets an error from Sonego. So it is a break back for free Fonseca. 1 more hold for him, and we'll be back, like fully back to level terms. And maybe not the last 3 points in general, despite winning this one, but especially the beginning of this game and the last few points in the 6th one. That was the best that we've seen from Fonseca so far, for sure. And he kind of deservedly earns that break back, despite Sonego being unplayable on serve in the first 3 games. Had to sprinkle something on Kovacevic, didn't understand how he's an underdog to Albot. Kovacevic has never won a red clay match in his career. And by the way, Houston doesn't count because I know that Houston is colored red, but it is a synthetic hard true clay, right? It's like the US green clay. So basically that's the thing. I mean, Kovacevic is just still winless on European red clay, if you may. And not even European. He also tried a couple of altitude events in Colombia, I think. 2022, the summer of 2022. And last year he went like 0-6. With Nakashima, Mariano Puerta, that's been going on for quite a while, actually. And are you crazy to think Rublev can get upset by Nakashima? I also think that Brandon has a shot. I don't think you're crazy. I think Kovacevic is deservedly an underdog, though. I thought this match was starting at 11 a.m. says John, and so did I actually. Even had an alarm clock for like 10:55, and then I realized about 2 hours before the match that Bucharest is not in my time zone. So thankfully, I managed to show up in time. And so far, we're watching some really nice tennis from João Fonseca, especially the last 2 games. So it was worth showing up as well. And let's see if he can keep going. I mean, of course, he's kind of, he's back on serve now, but as we all know, it's not going to matter much if he can't consolidate the break that he just got. And this wild forehand error is not exactly the best start to the game either. But it's an ace down the tee. Lots of potential on the Fonseca serve. I think for now it's definitely work in progress, but I think deliveries like this kind of show you that in some time it will be a proper weapon. In fact, it was already very impressive when I started watching him when he was like 16. But well, sometimes on the main tour he just kind of seems to, especially on clay, like roll it in. I think on hard courts, when he starts playing hard courts, that might be a bit of an issue so far at tour level quality. But here he finds another great I'm not sure if it was an ace actually, but at least an unreturned serve. Yeah, I don't think they classified it as an ace looking at the okay, the stats. We can't see the stats for some reason, but we can see that they didn't classify it as an ace. Maybe I will refresh so that maybe I can show you the stats from time to time. And yeah, only one ace for Fonseca so far. 40-15 here, tries to go down the tee again, barely misses it, but he's very close to securing this 4-4 tie. And it should be an easy pickup from him. Yes, indeed it is. 4 games all. What a turnaround from the 17-year-old. Dominated in the first 5 games, but now it's actually him who's been dominant player. Hopefully Zhang beats Luka today, says Jean. Kind of agree with that sentiment. In fact, you were talking about Albot Kovacevic and like sort of not understanding the odds there. That's kind of what I have here with Zhang and Van Asch. I think that Zhang is pretty clearly the better player as long as he can keep himself in check. But yeah, 4 games all. Let's see now if Sonego can stop this sudden push from Fonseca. What a point. And Fonseca is now like really firing. Plays a drop shot. Wow, that's impressive from Lorenzo. I mean, I thought Fonseca played this point very well. He was hitting so hard that I was just expecting him to blast a shot, just into the fence at some point because he was taking everything so early and just so speedy. But then he comes up with this dropper, and it's such a good fake out from Sonego here. Doesn't really look in the direction where he was playing up until a certain, well, basically until he hit the ball. Completely messes up Fonseca in this cat and mouse situation. I can't really say a cat and mouse rally because it was just one shot, but the Fonseca returning so far as well. But Sonego is getting the balls back. Another Fonseca drop shot, and this time Sonego won't be able to catch it. What's happening right now? I mean, Fonseca is now like flying out there. He's really like hitting every shot with so much velocity. So much more springy in terms of his footwork as well. I don't know. I mean, if he can locate the break here somehow, I don't think he can play like this and the entire match. But if he can just keep that up for the next 2-3 minutes. But of course, a lot will depend on the quality of Sonego's serving here. A block return from Fonseca makes it into the court, but it should be a good combination for Sonego. No! He approaches the net to the Fonseca forehand and just gets burned by the super fast passing shot. He had a play on it. There was a universe where Sonego catches this one and it's kind of like accidentally a perfect drop volley, but it was very hard to control this one. So 15-30, I mean, what sort of intensity Fonseca found the last 4 games? It's kind of amazing. So it would be a brilliant moment for him to break here as well and sort of just finish that great stretch off with probably one of the most important games of the match, but we'll see. And another drop shot from him, but he misses it this time. I mean, to his credit, Sonego was like kind of flabbergasted by it. Yes, this was a backhand dropper this time from Fonseca. This nice stabby motion with good disguise. No clue if Lorenzo would have made it to it, but it is in the net, so 30 all. It's like 3 drop shots already in this game from Fonseca. And I mean, it's maybe not a great return, but he's getting everything back now. Very important point here. And Sonego will miss the forehand, so it's a break point for Fonseca. Perhaps the most important point of the first set coming up. The last 10 minutes, Sonego is like not really there on the court. It's all about Fonseca. And if he can keep that up for just one more rally and get into at least one more rally, because even when Sonego is playing like great first serves right now, Fonseca is still getting them back. Lots of frustration now for Lorenzo. I think it's a let. Yes, indeed. He decides to smack the forehand anyway, even though it wasn't, uh, the rally was over. Well, the rally never started actually because of the let. Second serve here. This is that side where Fonseca usually tries to go forward and try to hit a bigger backhand return. We'll see if that's the case this time too. Yes, indeed. Although Sonego serves to his forehand and gets the reward for that, I do think that he caught out Fonseca here with that one. João expecting yet another kick serve to his backhand, which hasn't been working too well on the second serve for Sonego. But Lorenzo is actually serving to his forehand kind of faster than the previous ones too. And Fonseca just totally mishits that one, probably having to change the grip and everything very quickly. So deuce and a very clutch second serve for Sonego. Fonseca not dropping off in terms of his return quality, though. Very nice angle here. Maybe could have done a little bit more with that second forehand, but it's still good enough for Sonego to miss. He was, admittedly, he was like very far behind the baseline, didn't really have the perfect, comfortable strike zone there. So it's one more breakpoint for Fonseca. Can Sonego find the first serve this time? Goes for the ace down the tee, and did he make it is the question now. Fonseca says no and circles the mark. The umpire is also of that opinion. Sonego gets to the net, will not have too much rhythm on this second serve as, well, he had to check it out for himself. It was very close, so I definitely don't blame him. And it's another breakpoint, another second serve on breakpoint too. This time Fonseca with a more conservative approach. And he's in the rally. withstanding a couple of big shots from Lorenzo, slicing here. It's a slice battle suddenly. Sonego lifts the ball a little bit with his forehand, but it's now Fonseca firmly on the front foot. Great forehand combination, but it's all coming back. And another forehand drop shot from Fonseca. Sonego gets to it, but he won't be able to put it inside the court. So it's 5-4 Fonseca. So many drop shots this game. I think the results were like kind of mixed, but it does show some adjustment. And the last 4 games from Fonseca has been, just total dominance, honestly, over Sonego. Sonego has been an extra the last 4 games. He's loving it right now on this Bucharest center court, Fonseca, and we'll see if he can also serve out the set. Fonseca, the drop shot king, says Gene, and that was even before he claimed the break point with the drop shot. Sometimes Zhang sprays too many errors. Yeah, that's the worrying part. Who do I think wins? Obviously the pre-match favorite was Sonego, and up to 4-1, just kind of had a lot of quality on serve, and he will demand a high standard from Fonseca. The main question is whether the 17-year-old can keep it up. But the last 4 games, we've just seen that when he's on song, when he's firing, it's very hard for Sonego to stay alive here. Very crucial game coming up as well. Definitely not giving this set to Fonseca yet, despite him serving for it. But if he will get it, that will be massive. Well, as much as the last 4 games were perfect for the Brazilian prodigy, he starts with a double fault here. Did he land that second serve? I don't think so. So it's 2 double faults in a row now for Fonseca. Has it all suddenly come to a crash? Or is he gonna climb out of this? Of course, he was love 30 down as well at 1-4 down, when he was basically very close to being out of this set. We'll need another turnaround like this to secure it. Jesus, everything is on the line now, or just outside of it. This one, though, I think he managed to land in, yes. It's a backhand down the line, +1 winner. Wasn't sure if he made it. Sonego wasn't sure if he made it, but it is in. It's a bit of a cliffhanger right now. He's really playing with fire, Fonseca. Nice +1 forehand is enough to get an error from Sonego, so 2 points away from the set. And it's going to be a set point for the Brazilian. Unreturned serve to Sonego's forehand. So from love 30, can he win the game again? 2 double faults to start this potential hold for the set. But now he's doing better, approaches the net, but that's a little conservative when it comes to the placement of the forehand approach shot. I'm not really sure what the idea was here. Sonego just had way too much time. So it's once more deuce, once more just 2 points from breaking and 2 points from holding. Fonseca dictating with some forehands. There was one that Sonego mishit, but it lands in the court. Weird bounce here, but still we're playing. And another weird bounce, but I think Fonseca, did he make this? I have no clue. I think, yeah, he's actually missed this. Again, the bounce was a little weird, but he almost managed to land it. Just twirl the ball with the inside out forehand. So it's a breakpoint for Sonego now. On the set point, he passes, or at least, gets the pass to be tricky enough for Fonseca to miss the volley. And now he has a breakpoint back. Gonna be a second serve from Fonseca, who's already hit 2 double faults in this match. This time it's not a double fault, but it is a deep return from Sonego, and the ball is into the net. So Sonego has broken back, as the set is not over yet. 4 pretty much perfect games from Fonseca, but the last one, he kind of put himself in this position by himself, right? I mean, two double faults. The approach on set point being a little, it wasn't horrible, but Sonego had just had way too much time. What's happening here? I'm watching on mute as usual when we're doing these watch-alongs. I guess we're replaying for some reason. Yeah, we are replaying for some reason. I have no clue, but Fonseca does not seem too happy about this, obviously, given that he put the return in and was very much in the rally. And now a couple of forehand sailing long from Fonseca. He'll have to, steady his head, especially after the last game where he had a set point. He was so close to taking the opener on serve as well, but doesn't make it. And now we'll have to just win this one all over again. Looks like the game will go pretty smoothly for Sonego. Bad bounce on the serve. And is it going to be a love game, a love hold? That's some incredible speed from Sonego as he's chasing down everything. Eventually, Fonseca gets the point though. Especially here on this volley. I was very tough to get to, but even tried to make that last shot. That was really some incredible footwork from Lorenzo, but he doesn't get the point anyway. Nice backhand down the line as well from Fonseca. So 2 great points already in this game. However, he was love 40 down, obviously. So one more chance for Sonego to go 6-5 up. The backhand line is spot on here. And can you get out of this as early as possible? I mean, can you get out of this without any additional issues, Lorenzo? Is now the question. One more break point for, one more game point, sorry, for Sonego to go 6-5 up. Backhand rally. Fonseca kind of hitting bigger as well in that one. But I think eventually he makes that forehand inside in on the line. Big reaction from him. Though the umpire is down from his chair and he's disputing with Sonego, who thinks it's out. The umpire is showing that it touched though. So suddenly from 40 love up, and what seemingly was going to be a pretty poor game from the Brazilian, we are back at deuce. Lots of twists and turns in this match the last couple of minutes, which, obviously is good for the entertainment, and it's good for that battle factor, which I mentioned earlier, that even if Fonseca loses this one, he will have lots to learn today. Lots he can take from this match in regards of just future experience. Once again on the deuce side, he's taking a lot more an approach to his second serve return that's a lot more conservative and conventional. I don't know if I quite like it because, again, it's just a point he was never really able to recover in, right? I mean, he started it 3 meters behind the baseline and ended it there as well. In fact, it was kind of what also made him lose this point because Sonego goes for this crazy forehand inside in and it bounces really short, with Fonseca not getting to it in time, kind of. So eventually Sonego still gets the game done 6-5, despite the brief turnaround. After the changeover, Fonseca will have to serve to stay in the set. Yeah, I've been saying Fonego and what else? Fonseca or something like that the entire match. For some reason, Sonego and Fonseca are pretty close to one another in terms of the pronunciation or whatever, not almost homophones. And I've been struggling the entire match. Maybe it's the early morning. I was expecting this to be at 11. Now I have to be on my best behavior, but the first hour can just go straight to trash. How did Fonseca get broken? He double faulted twice at love 30. Then he still got to 40-30 and approached the net on a +1 forehand. Didn't get past, but he gave Sonego a lot of time, and it was very tough for the Brazilian to put the volley over the net. He didn't, and eventually he lost the next 2 points as well. So he had a set point, but unfortunately for him, it did not work out, and now we are still on serve, but he has that tough spot of trying to serve to stay in the set and get to the tiebreaker. What happened to the schedule? I mean, it's Bucharest. It's not our time zone. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing I did not realize. Indeed, in Bucharest they started at 11 a.m. But sorry if I'm grabbing that arm quite a lot, but I've been struggling with it the last couple of days. Probably if someone has been watching the stream quite a lot, you might notice, but unfortunately I can't do much about it. Sorry guys, there will be quite a lot of movement on my chair, but what can you do? Anyway, 6-5. Fonseca under quite a lot of pressure here. Whew, rocket backhand, but Sonego still gets to it. Decent composure from the 17-year-old to put it away, though. This time the bounce is going to hurt Sonego. I mean, we've been seeing quite a lot of horrible bounces this match, I think. And yeah, I mean, there's no way you're going to get that forehand over the net when this happens here. And it should be 40 love up Fonseca, so we are almost surely getting that tie break. Quite a long set already too. Where do you stream the game? I mean, Tennis TV, probably. It's a paid subscription, but it's the center court, so you should have it. And once again, I see that the scoreboard that I was showing earlier, which, by the way, I can now remove, given that we have another one on the ATP website, once again has messed up the serve and return. But yeah, thankfully, we've got the better one now. I can stop my screen sharing. And yeah, we have the better scoreboard now, which actually tells you who is serving instead of the ATP Tour website, which apparently is just broken beyond repair. Anyway, tiebreak, let's kick it off after about an hour, almost 58 minutes. Let's go. Part of me wants to say that it's a very fair way of just settling this. Obviously, Sonego had some real opportunities early on, 4-1, 30 love. Fonseca then with the set point on serve, that was probably the bigger one, but still, tiebreak seems quite fair with how the guys have been playing, especially in that the first 5 games were so dominated by Sonego. Then you had the Fonseca turnaround where Sonego was then made to look like an extra for a while. And now it all kind of just evens out, and we're going to see who is going to be better in this best of 13 points scenario. Obviously, it might be longer as well than just the best of 13. Once again, some really good scrambling from Sonego, but if Fonseca stays on point, and he does, pretty tricky backhand volley even there, but he manages to make it. The scrambling, the speed from Sonego was excellent, though. Really made Fonseca hit like 2 more shots here than against most players he would have to. And that's not a bad strategy at all against someone who's 17. Ooh. Wrong footing Sonego there with the backhand as well. I mean, some of the moments from sort of like the best moments of the match so far have definitely been like magic from Fonseca. We'll see if he can actually maintain that over an extended period of time as well, especially if he gets to the second set. What, of course, will matter quite a lot is how he gets to that second set, whether it's going to be as the winner of the opener or not. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. Sonego approaching the net, and he got this pretty short slice from Fonseca. By the time he just had to lift it into the air, it was just like one or two steps that the young Brazilian had to make in order to make the pass. Once again, he just goes hard at Sonego, and it's enough. Lorenzo might regret this point, although, of course, it's just one mini break so far. Ooh, but that's nasty. I think he's blaming this on the bounce, which again, I don't think it was perfect, but it is a very cheap error from Sonego. And now at 4-1 up, two serves, Fonseca kind of has everything in his hands again. If he blows the set from this position, it's kind of going to be all on him, right? Especially when we remember what happened in the 10th game and the set point that he had on serve. So 4-1, two serves, he wins at least one of these points, and he's still in a fantastic position. So it's everything sort of set up for him now. He just needs to take it. This backhand volley is not perfect. He gets the backhand overhead in though. Sonego still running. Another backhand overhead from Fonseca, and he wins the point eventually. I mean, that could have been finished like 4 shots earlier, but well, it is a point for him anyway. It's 5-1. This backhand volley was pretty good, but like, yeah, again, the overheads. I mean, given that both of these overheads were from the backhand side, they weren't horrible at all. It's a pretty tricky shot, obviously, but yeah, maybe with a little bit more experience, he could have wrapped this up earlier. But what matters in the end is, of course, the result, the outcome of the point. And the outcome of the point means that Fonseca is now 5-1 up and in an even better position to clinch the opening set. This is better than even when he was serving for it at 40-30, I think. Especially, of course, if he wins the next point when he could have 5 consecutive set points. Will he, though? Approaches the net. Wow, what a point. Sonego with this nasty slice pass, but Fonseca somehow manages to change direction, even though he was definitely lunging towards the left side. Manages to get to that forehand volley on the stretch and put actually quite a lot on it as well. 6-1 Fonseca, 5 set points. If 5-4, 40-30 on serve was an opportunity, this one, of course, is like 5 times the opportunity. Unreturned serve of Sonego's racket, though. Fonseca, I think, checking the mark, but there's not much to check there. This one was clearly in. He's still watching. He's still checking out the mark. Nah, this one was definitely in. He's actually asking the umpire to check it as well, but I think it's not going to give him much. Yeah, the umpire is just pointing out that it's there's no space between the mark and the line. So it's 1 set point saved by Sonego, along with the one at 5-4. It's 2 set points, in fact. But he still has at least 4 more to fend off. That's a let, I think. And it's an easy cleanup on the +1 forehand from Sonego. So now the more important points are coming. Now the ones on Fonseca's serve. (6-4) by now. I mean, we are getting into like tricky territory already. Fonseca has to close this out relatively quickly now. This one was a little related to the bounce. I mean, absolutely. But let's just say the preparation of these Bucharest courts doesn't seem that great. But now, 6-4. Once again, we are in the rally. Fonseca approaching. No, actually, he doesn't choose to do it. Kind of finds himself in no man's land. And it will allow Sonego to approach the net. So 6-5. I think this one is on Fonseca, though. He had this one moment when he was clearly contemplating to smack that forehand inside in and go to the net. He didn't. Then he's forced to retreat. Obviously, that's never a good thing, really. He still picks up the shot, but it does allow Sonego to take over. So it's 6-5 now. 5 set points saved by Sonego already. 4 consecutive in the tiebreak. And now he's again on his serve. So this could be a very brutal moment for Fonseca if he loses the set from 6-1 up in the tiebreak. But we'll see. He still has this point. And of course, at 6-all, he will potentially, be able to get more chances too. Sonego kinda attacking with the forehand, but not that much actually. And Fonseca is once again in control of the point thanks to a great cross-court forehand. Approaches the net now and cleans it up. Beautiful point. I mean, obviously he had many issues struggling to get over the finish line, but he really punished Sonego here for not taking over as early as possible. Like the first couple of shots, I think Lorenzo had a very nice opportunity to just wrap this one up, be a little more proactive even. Then Fonseca cracks that forehand counter and just never really lets go with a nice volley. 7-6 in the first, 7-5 in the tiebreak. Took 6 set points, but Fonseca eventually gets this one done. And in a way, this win would be more impressive than the one against Fils, I think, in Rio, where like everything was going Fonseca's way. This time he's definitely had his fair share of issues, around this set. 1 hour, 8 minutes as well. Big battle. But he eventually gets it done. And we'll have to come back to the second and see. The tiebreak prediction for Jean did not work out with 7-4 Sonego. Will Fonseca make the top 100 this year is the question in the chat. So presently, when it comes to the ATP race, he is not that far off. He is currently 121st. He wins this match and he will be 105, 6, something like that in the ATP race. So obviously his results kind of warrant it. However, we have to remember that a lot of it is the Rio quarterfinal. So that's not really a result that we expect him to get every week, at least not at this stage yet. But I mean, for now, he's definitely in the middle of a top 100-ish campaign. Will he keep it up? We'll see. Sonego was leading 5-1? No, he was leading 4-1 and 30 love on the Fonseca serve. But Fonseca won that game and won 4 games in a row, in fact. When he had the chance to serve it out, he didn't, but then still got the tiebreak done. With a big twist there as well. Why don't you stream the match on Twitter? Asks Christian. We cannot because we would be banned. It's illegal. Who's winning Stuttgart? There's a question as well to Gene, who says it's tough. It's a tough question, but you got to come up with an answer. You can't just back out. Also, in Stuttgart, it's usually not a tough question because it's usually just Iga Świątek. But to be honest with you, I mean, the quarters against like Ostapenko, Noskova, or semis against Rybakina, this might be her toughest Stuttgart campaign so far. I think that if she gets to the final, she's going to win it for sure. I don't think even Arena will be a problem, but the semis and the quarters, well, these could be some troubling rounds for her. I've always been surprised that Świątek is 100% in Stuttgart. Obviously, it's just 2 editions, but it is a slicker, faster clay court, so at least in theory, not that amazing for her. Then again, of course, even in Madrid, which is pretty similar, but for a different reason, she's also been really good there, right? So. Well, I mean, just 1 edition really in 2023, but she was clearly the best player alongside Sabalenka going into the final. So. Ostapenko versus Vondroušová final in my bracket. Wow, that's a bold one. I mean, Ostapenko playing Noskova already right away. Ostapenko looking so bad at Beijing King Cup, but obviously Jelena can just turn it on whenever. I think Vondroušová though that's a pretty wild pick. I don't know if I like her chances to beat like Samsonova in the second round, for example. Today she's playing Donna Vekic, of course, in the first round, and she's the favorite apparently. But I mean, we'll see. A lot of that, obviously, with Marketa is the health and the fact that we haven't really seen her play since Indian Wells, and of course, she is very much reliant on that Wimbledon title from last year currently when it comes to the rankings. 2,000 points, which is over 50% of what she has right now. And without that, she would be around 30 in the rankings. And since Wimbledon, she's kind of been playing like it too. (7-6). We are, of course, watering the court, but it should be ready shortly. I'm not sure if Fonseca is back, though, from a toilet break. Is he there on the bench, or? I don't know. It's behind the umpire's chair currently. And now we're back. Fonseca kicking off the second set on serve, getting the point from getting the balls from the ball boys now. And here we go. I mean, of course, taking that first one is quite huge for him. allows him to have a potential dip and then maybe still come back. It was definitely quite an intense affair as well, but an hour, 9 minutes, I think he should be able to handle this one physically, at least in the second set. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, he's halfway through to one of the biggest wins of his career. And in fact, to me, probably more impressive than the one against Fils in Rio, because it just hasn't been a match where everything is going his way right away. Whereas in Rio, obviously, that was the case. Even if the standard of play of him, of himself was higher in Rio. Yeah. Decent start to the second set for the 17-year-old too. Loses this point, but earlier there was a brilliant +1 forehand down the line. Shorter ball from Sonego here. He'll get his racket on the potential passing shot on the run, but it's way too hard for him to play it in. And an ace from Fonseca to get a nice start to the second set. He's gonna be the one sort of, with the scoreboard pressure on his side as well, which after winning the opening set might be kind of huge, but we'll have to see. I don't know, Teddy. Regarding the app of WTA TV, I do not have a subscription there, so not sure. Guess what your semis are in Barcelona? I can guess, sure, of course. Is it Nadal? I mean, you're going pretty bold on some of these peaks, so. How about Marozsan against Nadal? And the other, I'm gonna guess that you went maybe like a Baez against Kachanov. It's pretty crazy, but I mean, that's kind of what I suspect you of, given your tendency to go for bold stuff. I do think that Marozsan has a nice shot at the semis. Like, if he faces Tsitsipas in the quarters, he's kind of a very tough matchup for him. Alex says that Fonseca is looking really good, especially that kick serve jumping up over the opponent's head. Yes, indeed, he's going for a lot of them on the first serve too. We'll see how that serving holds up on hard courts or in any other faster courts as the season progresses, but at the ATP Tour, it's definitely a big part of his game already on clay. Tsitsipas, Fokina, Ruda, Cheveri. Okay, I was not close then. You didn't go that bold. Almost had Marozsan though. Yeah, that Marozsan beating Tsitsipas peak is like kind of trendy, I think. I think by the time Fabi got that 17th seeding, of course, because of Carlos's withdrawal, it became a bit of a trendy peak to have him there. At least to have him in the quarters, and then I think he would have a very nice shot at Steph, especially coming off Monte Carlo. Barcelona is a tricky event to predict, I think, because so many, like Rublev, it seems kind of in trouble right now, and Ruud, Tsitsipas, they both went very deep in Monte Carlo, And after that, it just kind of becomes very open. I mean, the fourth seed is Alex de Minaur, who could go deep in this event, but of course, it's still his worst surface. He's made the semis, right, in Barcelona before and almost beat Alcaraz, so it's not like he can't. But it's definitely a different landscape compared to the last 15 years, really, at that event, or maybe even 20, because every single time you had either Nadal or Alcaraz as the main, like, huge favorite, and right now it's not a thing. I mean, Alcaraz is not in the draw. Nadal, we have to wait and see. Fonseca going to the net, catches this volley. It's not a clean hit, and in fact, that's why it bounces so short. But yeah, for now, just kind of making a routine job of his serve, it seems, in the second set, which making routine work. So that would be kind of the best he can hope for right now, given where we are, and just sort of wait around for a Sonego weak game. Backhand cross, Sonego slicing. Fonseca switches to up the line, but it's once again very good defense from Sonego. But when he tries to switch from that slice finally for a flatter counter, he hits the net. So it's 40 off Fonseca. And Sonego steps in to try to hit a huge return, gets it into the middle of the net. 7-6, 2-1 Fonseca. So far, very routine in the second set for him. Didn't even consider Rublev. Yeah, because you said that he might win, but that Nakashima might beat him. I thought that you weren't going to consider him, actually. I was joking, though. It was obviously a bad bounce. I mean, yeah, in general, I mean, his kick serve is strong, but if you were talking about that particular one, then yeah, I mean, lots of bad bounces in Bucharest. Terry, I don't think we've heard much. I mean, we've seen the photo. I've actually had I've had my ankle look like that once. I was not walking for like 10 days, and I probably, if I pushed it, I could be back playing in like 14 days maybe. If it's just the same sort of, ligament tear or whatever. I think mine was like second grade that time. Then he should be back in like 3 weeks, I think. But that's just a guess based on how it looked. Obviously, I didn't see an X-ray of it, nor would it give me much, since despite having quite a lot of experience with rolling my ankles, I still don't know how exactly it should look on an X-ray now. Most of the time, I don't actually go to the hospital anymore. I just know that it's going to be fine in 10-15 days. My bottom half quarterfinal is Echeverry Bautista. Good. Wow, that's a bold pick in Barcelona. Kachanov was injured last match, and Nori is in no form, so that's where RBA pick is coming from. Yeah, it was kind of tough to pick anything there. I thought maybe you were going to go Kachanov, but fair. Is Fonseca the next Federer or next who? I mean, Fonseca is João Fonseca. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I don't think there's any point to comparisons like this, really. Obviously, he's a fantastic aggressive ball striker, just needs to kind of steady the ship, get to learn the ropes of playing at this level, but the potential is absurd. The peak level is already extremely high. Massive forehand inside in here too. What an angle. and he goes love 15 up on the Sonego serve at 1-2. Well, 2-1 from his perspective, in fact. And of course, in the meantime, a lot of other matches started as well in Barcelona and Munich. Munich, we've got three pairs on court right now. Kepfer 4-2 up on Garin. Garin is one of the former champions in the draw 2019, I think. Taro Daniel leading Chris O'Connell early 4-1. Yuri Rodionov leading Alexander Vukic 5-2. In Bucharest, we also have another match on court at the moment, Vašro against Vujovic. I'm thinking Vašro has a pretty proper chance at the upset there too. And we also have Barcelona on court. Van Asch leading by a break against Zhang. So is Carbaez Baena against Grenier. And Dusan Lajovic has already claimed the set against Diego Schwartzman, 6-1. I mean, the last couple of weeks, Schwartzman is at least qualifying for these events. That's kind of been the change, right? That he made it in Miami, made it in Barcelona. But once he gets to the main draw, he has been getting pretty easily dispatched. Anyway, 30 all here. So let's see how this crucial point plays out. Of course, with where we are in the match, just one break can really mean it's over. Sonego will do everything not to surrender it so far. And Fonseca can't quite block the return in play. So is it going to be 2-all? I guess so, as the Sonego serve bounces really high. And we are at 7-6, 2-all. You lucky bastards, John. Pereriba sitting 3 meters from him. Pereriba Madrid. He's kind of like Basel. In fact, we had Basel on the stream a couple of days ago, and his first name was like a tournament, right? And Pereriba Madrid had his surname being a tournament, or rather his maternal surname, as we are talking about a Spanish person. I think Sonego makes that. Yes, indeed, a very nice counter. We've stood the first couple of shots. We've stood the power of Fonseca, and then manages to find this tricky wrong footing forehand counter. No way for the Brazilian to get to that. But now a forehand slice doesn't find the court, and for the first time in this set, Sonego is once again I've done that. Fonseca is in a bit of trouble. This backhand slice of his just sailing wide, but an unreturned serve right now is worth $1 million. Fonseca big forehand cross court. He's having Sonego just running around all over the court. and eventually forces an error with the backhand cross court. So 40-30. Has he already gotten out of this? Forehand cross, sending Sonego stretched to the forehand corner, and it's a game for Fonseca. Brief scare, 15-30, but he handled that very well. Can Sonego still win this? I mean, obviously he can. It's not like it's not close. We saw how many issues Fonseca had also when he was trying to just close out the opening set, right? But I mean, Sonego has been kind of out-talented in this match. Let's be honest about it. Sonego has been very fast around the court. Sonego has been defending well, scrambling well. But after the first 5 games, he's also the player who's getting dominated here in the rallies. We also have the action starting up in Rouen already. Stuttgart is gonna follow soon in 50 minutes with the Italian battle of Paolini and Errani. The other match in Bucharest going on right now is Vacheron against Fucsovics. 4th game only, so far looking very competitive. Haven't really touched on any stats from this match, but I also don't think there's that much to talk about really. Both guys winning a very similar amount of points on serve. It's just been as tight as possible, but Fonseca won that very important 6-5 point in the tiebreak after already blowing 5 set points previously. In general, in total points won, he's leading by just 3 points as well. So yeah, 2-3 down, Sonego to serve. Once again, it feels like Sonego could have done a bit more, maybe with that early aggression in the point. But he kind of gifts it back to Fonseca. He kind of allows the Brazilian to have everything he wanted, and that's where we end up for the moment. Yeah, that's good. Fonseca moving back so much after that return, I guess expecting a Sonego big forehand strike, but it's actually a soft drop shot that Lorenzo comes up with, and there's no way to catch it. Even if you are Gael Monfils, Alex de Minaur, Dane Sweeney, you're never gonna get it because you're so far back. Lovely backhand down the line from Fonseca, and this soft drop shot should give him the point. Sonego catches it. This time the disguise was not that good, but it didn't need to be. Kind of laughing about something, Lorenzo, right now. I'm not really sure about what, but it's a great combination from Fonseca, and he gets the point done. So now he has that 15-30 opportunity that Sonego missed in the previous game. To me, that serve was out probably from Sonego, but we'll see. Yeah, the umpire checks the mark. It was out indeed. So second serve at 15:30 on the outside as well, where Fonseca has been often trying to step in. Now he stays back. Sonego trying to capitalize on this by approaching the net, but he doesn't get the volley over it. And actually, a lot of that was Fonseca's return, which was like deeping pretty low. But still, I mean, Lorenzo had a lot of time on it. He definitely could have played that into the court. So it's two breakpoints for Fonseca, and obviously, if he gets it done, he will only be 2 holds away. One breakpoint has been saved. Serve out wide, shot into the other corner, kind of the classic clay point from Sonego. Fonseca almost stays in the point, but that slice is just going to go out. So one more breakpoint for the 17-year-old. And once again, it's going to be on the second serve. Will he just stay back once again, or is this one of the ones where he tries to crack it? No, he's moving forward, but he won't get a clean hit on that backhand. I mean, to me, it seems like he just had so much momentum going into that shot, like a little too much even. The way he was trying to hit it, like that was kind of a saber attack, rather than just a big backhand return taken early. Like, yeah, he was just really running straight into it. I don't know if that was maybe a little too much. But anyway, that sets us at deuce with two rather easy breakpoint saves for Sonego, you would have to say. I mean, he only had to hit one shot besides the serve. Now a nice +1 cleanup, and we might just stay level. Sonego approaching the net again, and Fonseca will not find the pass. He kind of made a bit of a mess of it after that Sonego half volley. Probably had a few options in mind and just never really chose. Anyway, 7-6, 3 games all. We might come back to this moment. We might come back to this game when, if Sonego claims this set as a potential missed opportunity for the Brazilian. But for now, of course, he's still 3 games all and is serving now to stay ahead, at least in terms of the scoreboard. The forehand cross from Fonseca, he handles this low bounce pretty well here, but we're still in the rally. Couple of slices from the guys, nice cross-court angle from Fonseca gets him the point. He's been pretty good at hitting through all these Sonego slices. I mean, Sonego has been on the defense quite a lot, and lots of these scrambling shots he gets to with the slice. And I think, generally speaking, Fonseca has been accelerating off them pretty well. You don't really see that many just wild misses from him in this match either. It's been a very composed match from the Brazilian for sure. This should be an easy cleanup. Yes, it is. Freddie Love. Vašroj, in the meantime, 4-1 up on Vučović. That's probably the match that I will start watching after this one, I think. We also have Albot and Kovacevic already starting up. Jean earlier expressed interest in that one. Lajovic up a set and a break on Diego Schwartzman. Wow. Same as Carballes Baena. The sets basically wrapping up in Munich as well. Yuri Rodionov beating Alexander Vukic 6-2 in the opener. Taro Daniel 6-3 over Chris O'Connell. And Christian Garin and Dominik Kepfer is the one that's been very, very tight so far between the two guys. Fonseca, another nice short ball forehand, doesn't make a mess out of it, even though maybe there was potential to do it. And I think it's an ace out wide. So 4-3 Fonseca, still ahead on the scoreboard, but obviously he missed that big chance at a break at 3-2. Fonseca has all the momentum now, says Ruel Letram, that it's over. Well, not taking that break. And he took the first set on his 6th set point, right? And Zhang breaks back, as Jean tells us, 5 games all in Barcelona. Schwartzman is just getting destroyed, it seems. Break points for Lajovic to go 2 breaks up. 6-1, 2 love, and 2 more break points. Actually, it was 3 more break points, but Diego has already saved one of them. What Diego Schwartzman did to Denis Yevseyev in the qualifying, now Dusan Lajovic is doing to him. Still can't really say there's that much interesting, anything that interesting in terms of the stats in this match. Fonseca in the second set getting a much cleaner performance on serve than in the opener, which is actually also true for Sonego so far, but especially Fonseca, he's just been winning everything on his first serve, the second set, which has raised his first serve points won statistic considerably. Oops. Sorry, guys. Apparently my tab crashed. I'm not sure how long I was missing, but I'm back now. Doesn't seem like we, we were drained of any viewers in the meantime, so probably not for long. But anyway, not much happened in the 4-3 game anyway. Just a routine hold to 15 for Sonego, as most of the games in the second set have been like this. Just that one big opportunity for Fonseca, which kind of could have ended the match, but well, he missed it, and now still has a lot of work to do. Poor Diego, says Jean, and indeed, even though I've said on a few occasions recently that I don't really like how he's approaching all this, the fact that he hasn't tried to get any rhythm at a challenger event, for example, or like says that he doesn't want to play Roland Garros qualifying, for example, that is brutal. Like the way that he's losing so far in Buenos Aires is absolutely brutal. That's not something that I'm wishing for him now. Even though I do think that he's kind of showing that he's too prideful, let's say, to try himself out at the lower levels, and just kind of not going about this the right way. But to lose like this, yeah, it's pretty similarly to team, right? That like with every single loss like this, we're kind of just nearing retirement at the moment with Diego Schwartzman. My streaming in the meantime seems to have broken down, at least for a second. Let me see if I can come up with something else, as Sonego actually had a 30-15 lead on the Fonseca serve. This stream is a little slower, so I might be able to still catch one of the points. Oh, nice. That was a good one at the net from him at 15:30, so it wasn't that easy. But yeah, for now I have this other stream open with which I will be a little behind the scoreboard on the screen. But well, we'll have to make do with it. Maybe my primary option will wake up in a second. And the 30-all point is an easy +1 forehand cleanup for the Brazilian, who has the chance to secure a 5-4 lead. Which would, of course, put Sonego in that position to have to win the game to stay in the match. Big serve, 5-4 Fonseca. Very dominant on his service games this set so far. Even when he's been in trouble, like 15-30 twice, he gets out of it very quickly, and that's kind of been the story of the second set, I guess. Still, he had that one massive opportunity, but we'll see. This might be his most complete performance, says Jean, if you can get this down. I agree about that, because, like, of course, everyone can win on the day when you're, like, just blasting the ball and everything is going in, right? Everyone has, like, 5 amazing matches in a year, and it's it's really not that tough to win matches on that very day when everything is just working out for you from start to finish. But that was not the case today. I mean, he really had to turn it around. He really had to get that first set done despite all the nerves. And if he can clinch this in 2, I think that's better than his wins in Rio. The standard of play is not higher, but it is pretty high too, especially in the second set. And especially just the fact that, yes, not everything was just laid out for him in this match, and he really had to like get into it, and overcome an opponent who started playing kind of inspired, and then just made him drop all that intensity, sort of get him by himself to a level that is unattainable for Sonego so far. At least in terms of the intensity, not necessarily in terms of the tennis. 。 Yeah, my streaming still seems to be out, so I will just keep using the slower stream then. So yeah, that could be a crucial game, but we'll see how Sonego handles the pressure now. Pretty much the first time he's been under this amount of pressure in the match. See, not in any match, just in this one. So far, Fonseca kind of helping him out, but still Sonego had to play a few decent shots in the rally, so it's not like this was a full-on 3-point. Ferdilov up now, the Italian. The backhand error from Fonseca, and now the unreturned serve as well. Really nice direction on this backhand down the line from Fonseca, but he doesn't get the point. Wrong-footed Sonego, but not to an extent where the Italian wouldn't be able to get it back. So it seems like it will be just yet another routine hold for Sonego as well. Just one game in this set that got to deuce, and it was, of course, that one where Fonseca had 2 break points. One that potentially we will be looking back at if he loses the set. Another good serve, and it's 5 games all. Still no breaks in the second set. Very much in contrast to the opener, which contained a few massive momentum swings. 45 minutes in to the second set. I think the first one was progressing at a slightly slower pace, but obviously this one still can get over an hour as well if we get to a tiebreak. If we don't, then it's going to be just 2 more games for either player. Forehand drop shot from Fonseca, a very good moment to play it. Sonego on the back foot, his gravity center sort of just not allowing him to start to this one early enough. Big inside-out forehand, but Sonego still in the point. Lifting the ball, making it pretty tricky for Fonseca to stay aggressive. Nice half volley, but he will get lobbed by Sonego. Tries to go for this phenomenal behind the back flick, but that was again, though, like the approach from Fonseca was not that good. A little bit of a kamikaze style venture to the net, and nice reaction from Sonego to go for that lob, as that was clearly the best option to ensure that the point would be his. That was a bit of a funky return from Lorenzo, just like with this one hand, he swats it into the court. But Fonseca, backhand cross court, smash finish, everything is okay. I don't know if he had like 100% control on the smash, to be honest with you. But he gets it done, so. Once again, just no issue hitting through the slice of Sonego. Finds the forehand inside in, gets the point. 7-6, 5-all, 40-15 Fonseca. And he could once again put himself in that position of forcing Sonego to serve to stay in the match. Last attempt, of course, was not that great, but, well, still some pressure that maybe can reflect on Sonego. But now a moonball return from Lorenzo gets him the point. Fonseca just completely mishitting that forehand. As I said, I don't think the bounces on these Bucharest court are too fair, but that goes for both players. I mean, they've both had instances where it kind of was a deal breaker. Can Fonseca get out of this game quite easily? Once again, it's a moonball return from Sonego, and once again, Fonseca mishits his forehand. Or maybe doesn't mishit it now, but it's just a wild error. So 2 consecutive moonball returns from Sonego. Give him the point. As Fonseca just trying to pull the trigger on that and failing. Gonna be a second serve too. So maybe suddenly these 2 lifted returns from Sonego can actually produce a turnaround. Once again, he leaves the ball into the air, but this time Fonseca is a lot better about it. I mean, he just waits for the ball to drop to his comfortable hitting zone. And yeah, after that, it was just clear that he is in control of that point. Inside out forehand winner. He just waited, this time he just waited for the ball. Instead of going after it on the previous 2 points just as early as possible. And he tries to approach the net. I think Sonego's return will be just out. Yes, indeed. So 6-5. And indeed, once again, Fonseca will be very close to claiming this one. My primary stream has, in the meantime, worked its issues out. Thank you for the subscription, Faisal Ahmed Hemon. I mean, obviously Fonseca is 6-5 up, so like the question of whether he can win the second set is kind of self-explanatory. I mean, both guys can win it. Who will? We will find out over the next 5-10 minutes, maybe 15. Lajovic is dominating Sisjin as indeed. Dusan Lajovic is serving for the match at 6-1, 5-2 against Diego Schwartzman. Brutal defeat, I have to say. Garin claimed the first set over Kepfer in Munich, the former champion. So far, slightly stronger, but it seemed like a very tough affair watching from afar. But yeah, Lorenzo Sonego preparing to serve at 5-6. Fonseca again with the forehand drop shot, and Sonego won't be able to get to it. It's the combination of that massive forehand he hit just a second earlier, really so much energy into it, and then the soft touch. Even someone as fast as Sonego won't be able to track it down. So it's 3 more points to take the match for the Brazilian prodigy. Oh, and it's a double fault for Sonego. So this is now very clearly a chance for Fonseca. Just 2 points away and 30 love up on return. I think the return from Fonseca is on the baseline. Once again, a very deep shot as he's controlling the point. Can he find a forehand for himself to totally crack? Well, he doesn't find a forehand, but he finds a backhand that he plays cross court. Sonego complaining about I don't know, the call or the bounce, but about something anyway. It was like right on the line, that return. Lots of gesticulation and screaming right now from Lorenzo, but he's 3 match points down. Let's see. Forty love up on Sonego's serve at 6-5. This is obviously the best chance he's had to claim this match. First set, it took him 6 set points to win it. Not this time, though, as Sonego misses the inside-out forehand, and it's a big reaction from Fonseca. What a great performance from him. I mean, as I said, and I think Jean also said something like this in the chat, like this was kind of more impressive than the Rio wins over Fils and Garin too, because it's not just like a peak performance when you just come out and blast every single ball, which obviously he can do. I mean, he's got this insane peak level already. But this one was actually pretty tough. I mean, 1-4, love 30. He gets that turnaround. He gets to like an intensity that's not really achievable for Sonego. Very strong on serve in the second set. Maybe not that strong under pressure, definitely. But in that on that sixth set point in the first set, he plays a phenomenal combination. Cross court backhand, I think, followed up to the net and a great forehand volley. So all in all, I mean, yeah, biggest win of his career. I would say so. I mean, I definitely get if someone says that it's over Fields in Rio, but to me, like sort of just based on, let's say, subjective criteria, I would say so. Yeah, I would actually. I would probably agree with the fact that this is actually the best win that he's had so far. And that's an important win too. I mean, Bucharest, Sonego seemed like one of the dark horses for the title, pretty much one of the more established players in the draw in terms of, claiming titles before and going deep in events like this. Let's see who he plays next, because I actually forgot already. Albot or Kovacevic. So like the opportunity will be there. In fact, he's already beaten Alex Kovacevic last year. Let me think which event that was. I think it was Brasilia, the challenger on altitude hard courts at the end of the year. It was a bit of a weird match because it was altitude and like controlling the ball was very, very tough there. But he started during the entire match. Basically, he was really targeting Kova's backhand return and the backhands, in general in the rallies too. And like the Fonseca forehand was just the best shot on the court there, for sure. Again, it was very tricky conditions. I think it took a while for Kova to really like start returning with his backhand, just reasonably well. It really took a while for him to sort of start controlling the ball off that wing in these conditions. So it's not exactly that I'm expecting that Fonseca, just will have the same sort of performance in Brasilia. But I think it's pretty clear that whoever it is in the second round, Albot or Kovacevic, Fonseca will be a slight favorite. Slight because, yeah, he's 17 and like his performances have been very inconsistent. But I think he's going to be the favorite against either Albot or Kovacevic. Albot Kovacevic obviously is not one of the best matches in the draw. Kova still looking for that first European red clay win in general, if we're not talking about Houston, where it's actually synthetic, actually hard through. And Albot also not really a clay player at this stage of his career. On the main tour, I mean, he's never really had any big results on clay. So a wonderful win, wonderful opportunity. Glad that we got this one in, because I was kind of worried that maybe it will be a 6-2, 6-2 for Sonego, 6-3, 6-3 or anything like that if Fonseca just has a bad day at the office. It was looking like it after the first 5 games, first 5 games and a half even, but then he produces that great turnaround, and indeed, what a win. As you can see, we're going to have a stream from Nadal Koboli in Barcelona. If it starts relatively early, I will be there for like the first set or so. Then someone else is going to pick it up. But we'll see. That depends on basically the start time of that match. It has to be 3 matches in before that one. So, I mean, it all depends on the players. Currently, Carballes Baena is pretty close to finishing that first one already. So, depending on how Munar Nishioka and Nakashima Rublev go, it will be that will kind of decide it. But anyway, definitely someone will be covering that match regardless of when it starts. And otherwise, thank you for this one. Thank you for this early match of the day in Bucharest, earlier than I expected, earlier than John expected, but thankfully I realized in time. And João Fonseca is already through to the second round in Bucharest, which of course is his first main tour win outside of that Rio run, first one in Europe. And well, let's just be honest, one of many. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys probably on that other Nadal Koboli stream, or otherwise maybe it will be just Mario and Eddie from start to finish if it starts a little later. More Fonseca coverage this week, says Jean. Depends on the scheduling, but possibly. I mean, I'm obviously up for watching Fonseca matches, yes. But I mean, we'll decide, kind of just every single day we'll be just deciding depending on the scheduling and the list of matches that we'll have for that day. But especially if he goes to like the semis, then probably we'll get some more Fonseca coverage. And as John says, I mean, we are basically going to have a stream every day. So if there's a Fonseca match that will suit us schedule wise, it's likely that it will be his, because, well, he's a big name, he's a big story. Once again, see ya, and thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
I want one more thing from you, Francisca. Can you look at the camera? And I want you to say, I am Francisco Jorge, and I am a friend of the show. Can you try it?
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend. Wait.
Go. It's okay.
I'm Francisca Jorge, and I'm a fan of the show.
One more time. Can you say, I'm a friend of the show?
Friend.
Like amigo.
Friend.
A friend. So, because we joke, we have players come on all the time, they have no idea, but after they've been on, we say, oh, Yelena Ostapenko is a friend of the show. She has no idea. But so if we get you to say, I am Francisca Jorge, or how you say your name, and
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Just want you to do me one more thing. I want you to hold the microphone. I want you to look in the... Don't be nervous. I mean, listen, you've just beaten Yelena Ostapenko.
I'm not nervous.
No, you shouldn't be. If you can beat Ostapenko twice in one day, you can do this for sure. I want you to look at the camera and just say, hi, my name is, say your name, and then say, and I'm a friend of the show.
Friend of the show?
Yeah?
Okay. Hi, my name is Susan, and I'm a friend of the show.
Say your whole name for me. That's the only thing I want.
Sorry.
Surname too. No, you're doing great.
You're
doing
cutting,
great.
huh?
Yeah, I'll cut it up. Don't worry. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Thank you very much, Susan.
You're welcome.
Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
And I will tag you on Instagram and you can reject. I do have one more tiny thing, which is I want you to look into the camera.
Yeah.
I want you to say your name.
Yes.
And I want you to say, I am a friend of the show.
I'm a friend of the show. Okay.
Perfect, yeah.
My name is Zeynep Sönmez and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.